Hey, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by to check out another mock commentary for my Samus Aran helmet. Well, actually, it's the first mock commentary because the other ones were like more like speed builds, but this one I'm talking to explain what I'm doing. It doesn't matter. It's the same difference. And unfortunately, though, there isn't really much to show because most of this work is on the inside of the helmet. I know, looks kind of scary, and to be honest, it actually is. But I'm going to break it down to explain exactly what all is going on here and why it's so important to the visor. So let's jump into some mini builds to explain that. So first of all, the way I'm getting the shape on the bottom of the visor is using these small 1x1 30-degree slopes, which actually do a fantastic job of that curve there. I really like how that came out. However, there's a little bit of a problem at first. So you'd think, oh, I'll just stack them next to each other and there you go. Well, that's not exactly the case. If you just put them one plate up next to each other, you'll notice that they actually cut in a little bit, making for a very ugly line. So how do we fix that? For every next slope, we just put it up half a plate more. In this example here, I start out with using one of the headlight bricks that's 2 plates tall on its side, next to a brick with a stud on the side is actually 2.5 plates. So for each next one, we just oscillate between headlight brick, brick with stud, headlight, back and forth, and then you get a nice slope going all the way to the top. However, to complicate the situation is we also have to do that from the top because, you know, the visor actually has to have slopes on it too. So not only do we have to do this method of working with plates and half plates every other one, we also have to do that from the top and create an inverted building technique in order to actually get that to work. Another point to consider is that the visor is not actually flat. In fact, periodically I have it stepped back a half a stud to give a little bit of a curve going on. Something to consider when, you know, building the rest of the visor. Now here's where things really get complicated. So I'm gonna go and remove this little arch here so you can better see what's going on. Because I'm dealing with transparent pieces for the visor, like I could just use this lime green color and then none of this would really be affected, but you know me, I wanna, oh well, let's go make it as, you know, whatever. So imagine these green pieces, for the sake of visualization, are transparent neon green. Here I have a headlight brick with a brick with a stud on it, so I've got these pieces are actually inverted as a 1x1 plate tile. And this is where it gets a little kind of confusing because we got another lime brick and then it would be a transparent green brick here and or a plate and a tile. This is all to keep the consistency of the visor accurate because when you have transparent pieces, you need a lighter colored brick behind it. Otherwise, you're just not going to see anything. If you had transparent all the way through, you know, the light would come through behind. But here we don't have that. So I need to ensure, and maybe I'm overthinking this, I probably am, I need to ensure that behind these transparent pieces there's a lime piece to make the color pop. I also can't just make this lime green because if this were to be transparent, you would see this the stud of the plate behind it and that would look a little ugly. So I need to make sure that I have at least the tile and then the plate before I can go back to the green. Now you may be wondering, well, why are you even doing this in the first place? Why don't you just plate it all or brick it all up? Well, the first problem is there are no 1x1 transparent neon green bricks. There are 1x2 bricks, but those, again, the depth is going to be cutting in twice as long, and that could cause some issues. Because we're half stepping the slopes to get the what you call the arch on the bottom of the visor. To fill this up, sometimes we have to be dealing with half plates. So in instance here, I'm using a plate. And then I've got technically 2.5 plates up here. And that needs to be compensated all the way up. So I can't just use plates or bricks or even sideways building. I have to use a combination of studs facing forward and studs facing vertical. Now there's just one more problem, and that's, well, this build doesn't work. See, unfortunately, having 2 of these slopes up on top of each other is just slightly too tall for the structure to actually be secure. Like if you were to build this design here and then you were to take an arch and put it on top here, you will notice that it's actually bowing in the center up, and that's gonna cause some structural stability problems. Maybe not super, but I don't really like that, the possibility of that causing any issues. So my way to fix it is to bring in some clips and some bricks or bars. So now what I've got going on here is the top here is still the same. The top is still hard mounted to the frame, but the bottom portion here, this can freely slide up and down. So all I gotta do is clip it on, slide it up into place, and boom, it's essentially the same effect. However, it just gives a little bit more leeway for, you know, to keep stuff from actually breaking. So that explains a little bit what's going on here. These pieces of the helmet that are below the visor, they're connected back with these plates of clips on bars, and then the visor itself is just hard mounted, well, will be hard mounted to the helmet once I actually get that far. Except for these two slopes down here, these have to be attached to the helmet just because of, you know, there's no room to slide them up and down. So I'll probably have to connect this part of the visor on a bar and slide it up into the head a little bit. There should be enough room up here, hopefully, once I get that far. But yeah, so that's why there isn't actually any outside improvements, because I had to work on the visor so much. Now, I was hoping that I could slant the visor and give it a little bit of a curve to the front, like so the bottom of the visor portion would be farther forward than the top. However, I do not believe that's going to be possible with this convoluted, messed up interior design, which that's alright. I got enough of that curve going on sideways with visor, so I think that'll, you know, kind of compensate for all that. But yeah, so hopefully next time I'll actually have something that looks a little bit more like the visor, or I should say the helmet in general. But that's it for now. I also extended a little bit of the grill on the front. Again, the hoses, that whole part is still up in the air, so yeah. We'll go from there. We got the visor. The visor is looking really nice, so yeah. Hopefully you gleaned some sort of information from all that rabble. If you want to know more about building sideways and upside down and all that sort of stuff, check out my video on sideways building. But that's it for now. So until next time, goodbye.